Good morning. It is 6:31 a.m. on Wednesday, October 30th, 2019. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I've been sitting here staring at the monitor for a good 15 minutes. This is 5 more minutes. Yeah, definitely got brain slowdown this morning, but yesterday was a good day. We're definitely having more uh, extra life donations come in. We've now exceeded the original goal of $750 raised, and so I've increased the target to $1,000. Hopefully, we can make it to there, and just as a stretch goal, I need to think of some things to be like stretch goals. You know, it's not quite like a Kickstarter where there's actually additional things that happen, but at the same time, hey, this is great. We have almost reached last year's final total before we're even in the game, which is great news, and that's definitely very exciting. And then we had a very good episode of So Many Levels last night that I'm very pleased with. And what else is going on? uh, yeah, I'm definitely a little foggy brained this morning. I'm paranoid now about getting sick before, before this big weekend. The one of the things that I was talking with a coworker about yesterday is just the proactive steps to try to ensure, um, what's the word for breathing? Because like not cardiovascular, but and like not digestive. What's your breathing system called? Those lung things. Well, you know. Um, Shoot, gosh, I feel like there's a specific word that I'm not thinking of. It's too early. Anyway, it used to be that I would get like bronchitis or sinus infections pretty regularly, like once a year at least. And it got to a point where, the local urgent cares centers knew me, and or not. I don't want to overstate that. I had in my record when I would go in for one, I would have in my record that I had been there before for a similar issue. And so finally, uh, one of the things that one doctor kind of talked to me about is like, so when you get a stuffy nose, what do you do? And the answer usually, at least at that time, was nothing, because I don't tolerate cold medicine very well. It makes it very hard for me to think or process. And so usually that makes me feel worse than I felt, before. So I just don't take cold medicine as a general rule. But, just getting a stuffy nose, just doing that all the time, and never taking other steps would occasionally lead to, like a sinus infection or bronchitis. And so, what I learned was that being more proactive, like occasionally taking a decongestant to dry myself out, even though it doesn't necessarily feel like I don't feel good when I do it, but to just kind of drain all of that, impacted mucus out of there, or doing things like using a neti pot to do nasal sinus irrigation, which is also not especially fun, but doing those things to keep an infection from developing in my sinuses. uh, it's like maintenance. It's like going in and getting your car's oil changed, right? It's the sort of thing where it's not fun. You don't do it because you like it, but it has certainly reduced the frequency with which I get things like sinus infections. And so I was discussing that with a coworker because they recently, had their own bout with sinus infection. But it's also just that time of year now where, uh, where people get sick. I think there's, you get various allergy seasons, right? where I think this time of year is when you get a lot of people with dust allergies because you have the weather patterns changing, and you get building climate control systems shifting from cooling air conditioning to heating. So, it's a time of year where, even if you are stuffy nosed because of allergies and not because you're sick, you could develop an infection if you don't take care of yourself. So, you heard it here, folks. Drain your snot. Do what it takes. Do 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 do. All right, I'm going to leave it there and talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.